The stats behind Ronaldo's last World Cup. Cristiano Ronaldo is 41 years old. He has scored 143 international goals, the most by any male player in the history of the game. He has 950 career goals across club and country and is chasing 1,000. He has played in 5 World Cups. And on June 17th in Houston, Texas, he will walk out for Portugal against DR Congo at his 6th. Nobody in the history of the men's game has ever done that. Not Pelé, not Messi until this year, not anyone. And yet, when you look at Ronaldo's World Cup record properly, when you actually sit down and go through the numbers, you find something that nobody talks about enough. The stats tell a story that is far more complicated than the legend. Let's start with the basics. 8 goals in 22 World Cup matches across 5 tournaments. That sounds decent on the surface. First player ever to score in 5 different World Cups. Portugal's all-time World Cup top scorer. But dig one layer deeper and the numbers start to raise questions. Of those 8 goals, every single one came in the group stage. 0 goals in the knockout rounds. Across 6 knockout matches spread over 4 World Cups, Ronaldo has not scored once when Portugal needed him most. Not 1 goal in a round of 16. Not 1 in a quarterfinal. Nothing. The man who scores for fun against club opposition, who has over 950 career goals, has never scored in a World Cup knockout match in his life. That is the stat that defines Ronaldo's World Cup story. And it is why, despite everything he has achieved, the World Cup has always felt like unfinished business. Now, to understand what this 2026 tournament means, you have to go back to the beginning. Because Ronaldo has not just been at 6 World Cups. He has watched the trophy slip away in 6 very different, very painful ways. In 2006, he was 21 years old. Portugal had a brilliant team: Deco, Figo, Paulita. They finished 4th, which remains their best ever World Cup finish. Ronaldo scored 1 goal and spent most of the tournament creating rather than finishing. They lost to France in the semi-final. A 4th place finish at 21 felt like the start of something. It turned out to be the peak. In 2010, Ronaldo was 25 and at the absolute height of his powers. He had just won the Ballon d'Or for the first time. He was the best player in the world. Portugal made the round of 16 and lost 1-0 to Spain. Ronaldo scored 0 goals in 5 matches, 0, in a tournament where he was supposedly the best player alive. In 2014, it was worse. He came in injured. Portugal conceded 4 against Germany in the opening game. They managed to scrape through the group only to be knocked out immediately. Ronaldo scored 1 goal against Ghana in the final group game, in what felt more like a consolation than a contribution. And then 2018, Russia. This was supposed to be Ronaldo's tournament. In the opening group game against Spain, he scored a hat-trick, 3 goals in 1 match, at 33 years old. That hat-trick included a free kick in the 88th minute that drew the game 3-3 and made the whole world watch. It remains one of the greatest individual performances in World Cup history, and it felt like a sign. This was finally going to be his year. Portugal won the group. They beat Morocco in the round of 16, Ronaldo scoring the only goal. And then in the quarterfinal, Uruguay's goalkeeper Fernando Muslera made one of the worst goalkeeping errors in World Cup history. And Portugal still didn't win. They lost 2-1. Ronaldo stood on that pitch at the final whistle and looked like a man who genuinely could not understand what had just happened. In 2022 in Qatar, something shifted. Portugal beat Ghana in the group, beat Uruguay, and Ronaldo became the first man to score in 5 consecutive World Cups. But Santos dropped him from the starting 11 for the round of 16 against Switzerland. Ronaldo came on as a substitute in a match Portugal were already winning comfortably. Portugal then lost in the quarterfinals to Morocco. That was the team nobody saw coming. And Ronaldo was substituted on with the score at 1-0 down and could not change it. He sat in the dugout and cried. That image, Ronaldo, hands over his face, tears running down his cheeks, is the image that defines his World Cup career better than any goal or record. Because it captures the gap between the career he has had and the one trophy that never came. Which brings us here. June 2026. Group K, Portugal, Colombia, Uzbekistan, and DR Congo. On paper, this is a manageable group for Portugal. Uzbekistan are a World Cup debutant, the first Central Asian nation to ever reach the tournament. DR Congo are back for only the second time since 1974. Colombia are dangerous. Luis Diaz is genuinely elite. James Rodriguez is still capable of moments of brilliance, but Portugal should be favored to top this group. Portugal's first match is June 17th against DR Congo in Houston, then Uzbekistan on June 22nd, then Colombia on June 27th in Miami, which is the one that matters. That is the group decider. And Ronaldo comes into this tournament in a different position to 2022. He is still scoring goals, 28 in the Saudi Pro League this season. He helped Al Nassr win the league title for the first time just weeks ago. He scored in the Nations League final in June 2025 as Portugal beat Spain on penalties. He has scored 25 goals in his last 30 games for the national team. The body is still doing what he needs it to do. At 41 years old, that should not be possible, but this is Cristiano Ronaldo, and nothing about his career has ever been normal. But here is the question that the numbers force you to ask. Can he do it in the knockout rounds? Because the group stage is not the problem. It has never been the problem. Ronaldo has consistently shown up in the group stage at every single World Cup. The problem is what comes after. And Portugal actually have the squad to go deep this time. Bruno Fernandes in midfield, Bernardo Silva pulling strings, Vitinha, João Neves, the entire PSG core who just won everything in Europe, Nuno Mendes, Diogo Dalot at the back, Ruben Dias commanding the defense, Rafael Leão on the left. This is not a team built around one aging superstar. This is a genuine squad with depth and quality in every position. The question is where Ronaldo fits in that team. At 41, the explosive runs of 2018 are gone. The pressing intensity you need in a modern highline has limits. What Ronaldo still has is the movement in the box, the positioning that comes from 20 years of elite football, and that unbreakable will to score. He still scores goals. He will always score goals. But is he the player you build your World Cup strategy around in 2026? That tension between what Ronaldo was and what Portugal need him to be is the defining storyline of their entire tournament. The numbers across 6 World Cups are complicated. 1 semi-final, 2 quarterfinals, 2 round of 16 exits, 1 group stage exit, 8 goals across 22 matches, all in the group stage, 0 knockout goals, a crying face in the Qatar dugout, a hat-trick against Spain that felt like the moment and wasn't. And yet here is the other number that matters. 1 major international trophy, Euro 2016. Ronaldo came off injured in the final after 25 minutes and watched from the sideline as Portugal beat France. He stood on the touchline coaching, screaming instructions, crying with joy when the final whistle blew. He won a European championship despite barely playing in the final. He is not a player who has achieved nothing on the international stage. He is a player who has won the one thing he was supposed to win and somehow never won the other. The World Cup, the one thing that keeps escaping him. So on June 17th in Houston, Cristiano Ronaldo will run out wearing the Portugal captain's armband at his 6th World Cup. He will be 41 years, 4 months old. He will be attempting something that has genuinely never been done before in football history. Not just reaching a 6th World Cup, but winning one at that age. The stats say it is unlikely. The history says it is unlikely. Every logical reading of what happens to footballers as they age says the same thing. But then again, every logical reading of what happens to footballers as they age also said he would not still be scoring 28 goals a season at 41. And he is. This is Cristiano Ronaldo. The numbers have never quite been able to contain him. And this is his last chance to get the one number that actually matters. A World Cup winner's medal at career goal number 1.